record it so that they can watch on the replay. So if you're listening to the replay, this is for you. Hey, Yvonne.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good. I was knackered this morning after yesterday.
Yeah.
I did a class last night as well.
Oh, wow. You're smashing it. Well, it was quiet this morning, wasn't it? So maybe it'll be busier tonight.
Did you do the deck of cards today?
No.
Oh.
We did abs. We did abs and cardio.
Are you doing that tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine then.
Right, I'm going to get started. Cool. So I'm going to do this whole share screen thing and then just go through a few bits that I've sort of prepared. So, yeah, that's okay, Hannah. I saw that you're multitasking. God, look at my screen. It's ridiculous. Okay, I think it's that one. So, cool. So the advanced, I'm just going to minimize all of our slot for now. So what I'll do is I'll just go through the plan. I've spoke to obviously some of you guys already, and you sort of know what you're doing already. But I thought it'd be really good to just double go over it, but also wanted to kind of go over the fasting part of the plan, because that's kind of like the crucial bit, and how I'm going to share how I recommend that you do it, but there's no right or wrong. I think that's one of the biggest mindset things that you can kind of try and get if you've not already. That lots of people sort of they get really fixated on doing everything correctly. There is no one way of doing things. The best way is what works for you. So yeah. So the number one rule and the number one goal is the first thing I want to share. So the number one rule, like I said, is don't overcomplicate things. This 10-day plan is actually pretty simple. And the main premise is really feeling the benefits, which is the number one goal, to experience the benefits of the therapeutic ketones and obviously feel awesome. And, and if your goal is to boost fat loss, then you can certainly do that with the plan that I'm going to share with you. Okay. So top 6 benefits that you should feel at least 4 or 5 of these, but ideally all 6 of them, depending on your goals by the end of the 10 days. Hopefully you're already feeling good, because I know lots of you have been training hard. You've already been tracking your calories. You've been eating healthier. So, the idea of this last 10-day plan starting tomorrow is just to boost it that little bit extra. So with the therapeutic ketones, the idea of using those, just another reminder, helps to regulate your appetite. It's easier to not eat for longer without getting hungry, basically. Boost your energy levels, definitely more clarity of mind. So if you've never used exogenous ketones before, you should feel a bit like someone's just turned on a light bulb in your mind, and you just get that kind of bing, and you feel good type feeling. It's a little bit like when you've had a strong coffee, but rather than with the ketones, what happens is rather than just getting that hit for like 10 minutes, it's a little bit longer sustaining. So it can literally go on for like a few hours, and you can feel just really clear of mind for a few hours. You should well find that your mood in general is good, and you feel less stressed. And obviously, if you follow the plan and alongside a calorie control diet, you're gonna definitely get some weight loss as well. Okay, so let's go into the 10-day plan. And then what I'll do is I'll just open it up for some questions at the end, if I don't cover what you're wondering. So the first 5 days, I've already covered this in a previous video, but just a reminder again, first 5 days, typical day would be, starting tomorrow, you just wake up in the morning, hydrate. Okay, so, have your water handy. Okay, get a glass of water or herbal tea or, you know, something like that. So that's going to help just hydrate you. You know, having not eaten for 8 hours or drank anything for 8 hours, you're probably going to be a bit dehydrated. So, so make sure you do that. And then you're going to want to have one of your ketone sachets. Okay. Now, I will talk about those of you that aren't doing the full-on keto plan. You know, you can still follow this to some extent without the ketones. And I'll go into that. But if you're on the keto plan, you're going to have your sachet ideally before 9 o'clock in the morning. And that's going to really kind of get you sort of buzzing and ready for the day. And then after that, you're going to keep hydrated. You do need to drink a little bit more water than normal, than you would normally. Okay, and then you're going to eat your first meal. Really, again, there's no hard and fast rule on this, but eat your first meal when you feel hungry. Okay, so you need to be a little bit mindful of this. What should happen is the satiety levels should kick in from having the ketone, and when you'd normally maybe have breakfast, you know, you just wouldn't feel like it. Okay, so if you'd normally have breakfast at like 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever, you know, if let's say you have your ketone at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, yeah, well, rather than normally having your breakfast at 9, you know, you might find you actually can go 2 or 3 hours, right? Like I haven't eaten today. So for me personally, I usually eat about 1:30, and I usually have like a relatively small lunch around the sort of 400-500 calorie mark. At the moment, this is since I've been doing this myself. So I've been following the plan that I'm sharing with you basically. But I've been having a ketone in the morning or a coffee or both. And then just not really eating till sort of 12, 1:30. And then I'll have another ketone in the afternoon around 2-ish, 2:30. That's usually when I start to sort of have a dip in energy. And then I'll just have my normal dinner. Like I'll have a curry or a chili. And that's been working really well for me. So, but yeah, your first meal will be probably around about the 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 1:30 like me, Mark. But you have to listen to your body, you know. I do recommend, I think it's always a good practice to, but by the way, if you have a real burning question, you can take yourself off mute if you need to, but otherwise try and just maybe write it down and keep it to the end. So then after you've had your first meal, you'll have, you know, again, that will probably see you for a good 2 or 3 hours. So if you have your first meal at 12:30, 1 o'clock, that'll see you through to like 3, 4 o'clock. And then you have your second ketone drink. Okay. You know, make sure you have it before 7 p.m. anyway. Okay. Now, if you are having a ketone quite late, like anything after sort of 5 o'clock, ideally you want to be going for the caffeine-free ketone. Too much caffeine in your system, you know, 3 or 4 hours before bed's not obviously a good idea. If you don't, I know a couple of you may not have a caffeine-free sachet at the moment. We've got some more coming in. But if, you know, so we can always swap those for some caffeinated ones. But if you have only got a caffeine one, for instance, just make sure you have that around about the 2:30, 3 o'clock mark rather than sort of 5 o'clock. And then you just have your normal dinner. Okay, so so you have a couple of choices here. This is what I wanted to say to you. You can literally just eat what you'd normally eat, okay, but follow this plan, which by default means you're going to eat a bit less because obviously we're kind of skipping breakfast, aren't we? What I'm suggesting that you do if one of your goals is fat loss is to take advantage of the fact that we're putting your body in a ketogenic state and choose a slightly lower carb diet. Okay, so, you know, the goal today was 60 grams max of carbohydrates. You know, so if you're used to 100, 120 grams a day, that's going to be a bit of a push, but it's not impossible. Most people can do that. Okay. And the cool thing about something like that as well is, I know Yvonne is on here as well, actually. So if you're not, I know Yvonne's not a massive sort of fan of sort of calorie counting and tracking, if that's you, or you're watching this on the recording and you're the same, it's actually quite easy to just literally count your grams of carbs. So if that's the only tracking that you do, and you just say, right, I'm not going to do the whole calorie tracking thing, but I'm just going to count my carbs, you know, or plan your carbs for the day. That's another way of doing it. But what I'm suggesting is you go lower carb, or you could go, you know, full on keto. Like I have said in a couple of videos before, if you're used to having a high carb diet, I wouldn't suggest going straight full on keto. Obviously, you guys are getting the Keto cookbook as part of this. So there's going to be some really cool, the thing with the cookbook is you need to use a cookbook like as a bit of a template. You know, the cookbook's different to a meal plan. I'm not subscribing a specific meal plan. The idea of the cookbook is to give you some inspirational ideas, some inspiration to how do I follow a low carb diet and make it tasty and make it sustainable. Okay, if you want to follow the Keto cookbook to the letter, you can. Just make sure that the recipe is in alignment with your calorie goals. That's the main thing. Okay, so just to summarize things really simply, you know, typically you use the Keto cookbook, and you're going to have your lunch between, that should say, 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. That's right. And then dinner around sort of 6 to 8 p.m., depending on when you'd normally eat dinner. And then between those times, you'd have your Keto OS before 9 a.m. and before 7 p.m. So that's just a slide just to kind of summarize the plan, how simple it is really. And that's what I was saying. You don't really need to overcomplicate it any more than that. Now, let's talk about the intermittent fasting side, okay? So if you hadn't noticed already, by just following the plan I've just shared with you, without even realizing it, you're following a kind of intermittent fasting plan. This also known as like roughly 16-8, okay? Which basically means for 16 hours, you're essentially fasting from food anyway, okay? I know we're having the ketone, but we're not really counting that as breaking the fast, because actually it is a ketone itself, which is the whole point of fasting. So, you know, you'd have your meal at say 7 or 8 o'clock, and then you'd fast for 16 hours or more, depending on how you're feeling. You don't have to be exactly 16 on, but you can use something like the Zero app, which allows you to just say, right, I've had my last meal, I'm going to start my fast now. And the Zero app will count your fast, and it will tell you when you can start your eating window the next day. Okay, that's Zero as in Z-E-R-O. So my suggestion, guys, is, you know, for the first half of the 10 days, you just keep things simple and you go for 16-8, you know, and that's up to you, what the food that you do eat, whether you just eat normally, low carb, or full keto. There's really, you've got 3 sort of levels there: normal, low carb, full keto. Full keto is really low carb. Then the last 5 days, I am, again, this is where we go into optional mode. Okay, so this isn't like you have to do this, but what I would suggest if your goal is fat loss and you're really wanting to nail the fat loss, is to try and get in 3 longer fasts. Okay, so what I'm suggesting you do is go for a 20-hour fast, okay, a 24-hour fast, and yes, you read it, a 36-hour fast. Okay, so the 20-hour fast is obviously just 4 hours longer than the 16-hour that you've been doing for the last 5 days. You would have been doing for the last 5 days. So if you typically would have your first meal at 11 a.m., then you're looking at extending it to like sort of 2 p.m. roughly. Okay, 11, 12, 3 p.m. Okay, and it might just mean that your lunch is, well, it depends how hungry you are, but you're essentially the longer the fast, the shorter the eating window that you have is. So you're only going to have a 4-hour eating window, aren't you? Okay, so you maybe have like a little lunch, and then you'll have your dinner. Okay, then you go back to normal. So this is how I would recommend that you structure the last 5 days. Is also, so days 1 to 5, we keep things simple. 16/8, done. A lot of you have been doing that already. Day 6, we step things up and we go for the 20-hour fast. Okay. Day 7, we go back to the 16/8. Okay. So what we're doing is we're doing alternate longer fasts. We're not doing one day after another when we're doing these long form fasts. Okay. So you've got almost what we call a little bit of a refeed time where, you know, if you are in quite a deficit, you know, you've got an 8-hour eating window the following day. So 20 hour, then we go back to 16/8, and then day 8, we're going to hit our first 24-hour fast. So basically you'd have your dinner at like 7:30 p.m. Okay. You'd go to bed. Okay. You'd wake up in the morning, you do your normal routine, have your water, have your ketone drink in the morning, and you'd skip that first meal at 11 a.m., 12 p.m., whatever time you'd normally have it. And then rather than having your lunch, whatever time that would be, like 2, 3 o'clock, okay, you would have your second ketone drink, and you'd basically be fasting till your next dinner at 7 o'clock, okay? Then we're gonna go back to the 16/8. And then day 10, completely optional. Okay, if you found the 24-hour fast really difficult and you're hating me, you're like, why is Matt making me do this? You know, you can maybe just do another 24-hour fast, or you can go back to the 20. Maybe you found the 20 was your sweet spot. Okay, this fasting is like training, like cold showers, like breathing drills, all of these new concepts that we've been talking about, that you've been learning. It's just another one of those where the more you do it, the easier it gets. You know, I've got a few clients that do this type of fasting all the time, and they'll look at this and be like, this is easy, Matt. But they might find the 36 one a little harder, because I haven't done many 36s with clients. But if you think about the 36, all right, what's going to happen? It's going to be exactly the same as the 24, okay? But when you normally break the 24 and have your dinner, you're just going to say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to have a herbal tea. I'm going to call it a night, have a bit of an early night tonight, okay? Go to bed, okay? And you use that 8-hour sleeping window to get you up. You might only get to 32, and you might wake up in the morning and you basically plan ahead for a really tasty breakfast that you're going to look forward to. You know, a nice egg and bacon, or something you're going to really enjoy, and that's going to be the meal that you're going to break your fast with. Okay, so that would be the structure I'd be recommending, but it doesn't have to be. You don't have to follow that specific structure. That's the really important thing. You might find that you do day 6 and you do the 20-hour fast, and that was a little bit like, you know, you're finding your energy levels are low. My guess is they won't be. Okay, by the time you've done 5 days of 16/8, you know, and doing an extra 4 hours is not going to be difficult for you. Okay. So there you go. That's the main thing I really wanted to share. Now, just a few notes, and then we'll go into questions. Okay, so keeping to your calorie targets is important. You know, when you're looking at cookbooks, like I said before, you know, there's loads of keto recipes online. Just make sure that you're adjusting the serving sizes according, because no cookbook serving size is ever going to be specific to your goals. You're always going to have to tweak them a little bit. So like I said, use a cookbook as a bit of a template, and then you can work from there. If you struggle with the whole sort of keeping on top of your calories, particularly when you're going keto and you're measuring more fats, you know, you may want to review Richard's Masterclass, particularly if you're using things like nut butters, like cashew butter, almond butter, etc., and review that, because he's got some really cool tips on how you can actually make it easier to measure out your calories without actually physically tracking using an app. Next, how to make your ketone drink. Okay, so really simple. You'll get a shaker like this. Okay, I would recommend getting a shaker like this. If you haven't got one already, you grab your ketone in your box. I like to fill my shaker up to about halfway. I'm just going to come out. Yeah, so about halfway here, and pour the sachet in there. Then I'll shake it up. Okay. Then I'll put a couple of ice cubes in there, because I like, well, particularly at the moment because it's quite warm, but because we want to make the ketone drink last a good sort of 20 to 40 minutes. I just find personally, like, it keeps it really refreshing. Okay, so you put your ice cubes in there, give it another little shake, and then just drink away and enjoy. Now, what I've been doing lately is I'll fill the water up a little bit more. Okay, and then every now and again, once I've got it to sort of halfway down or quarter down, I might just top it up with a little bit more water. Okay, so my eye. So that is as easy as it is, basically, to do your ketone drink. And like I already said, if you're having an afternoon ketone, just try and avoid having the caffeinated one after sort of about 4 or 5 o'clock. All right. Useful resources. We spoke about these the other day. Drinks that aren't going to add loads of calories or add loads of carbs. 2 that I've been using that I've recommended, the Dash water. You've got like 7 calories in there, and the kombucha as well. There's only 7 calories in that one as well. So and they're just super tasty. And then also, if you're going to drink coffee on this plan, what you'll find is you won't want to, like, if you'd normally have 2 or 3 coffees a day, you won't want to do that. You won't need to do that, because your energy levels should be naturally a lot higher. I'm just having 1 coffee a day now, which is quite good for me. But what I do is I use the Keto MCT in the morning. I do use that. So when I say that I don't eat till 1:30, that might sound like that's quite a long time to not eat on every day on a 16/8. But I will have an MCT coffee with a dash of that, and that's going to bump up my calories by a good sort of 60 or 70 calories just from a tiny little. So that, if I didn't have that, I'd probably be looking at more like 12 p.m. Or 1 p.m. probably for my first meal. Okay. So what else have I wrote down? Option to make the ketones last longer. Yeah. So I just made this note this morning. If you're finding that that first ketone of the day is really boosting things and it's really helping you achieve the calorie deficit, but because of how you have your meals, or because you just want to save a bit of money and you want to enjoy the benefits of the ketones for longer than 10 days, what you could do is just obviously just have, rather than having 2 a day every day, you could just have the 1 in the morning. The only time I would potentially suggest not to do that, and definitely have the 2, would be on the days when you have those longer fasts, because that second ketone will really help you. If you're doing a 36 or a 24-hour fast, you're going to want that second ketone. Now, alcohol and ketones and ketosis in general, due to the fact that ketones pass the blood-brain barrier, which is one of the reasons why you feel so awesome on ketones, when your body is in a state of ketosis, if your body is able to pass the blood-brain barrier and then you put alcohol into your system, you're going to actually get the negative effects. Okay, so you don't want to be putting toxins into your body when your body is in the optimal state. Okay, so if you were to have any alcohol, I would, put it this way, I wouldn't have that second ketone. You could probably get away with the first one, but just try and keep it really low like if you're going to have like, you know, even a kombucha with a small, you know, single of gin or something like that, you know, or a gin and tonic, you know, that'd be absolutely fine. But just, you don't want ketones and alcohol within a sort of 2 or 3 mixed with it within a 2 or 3 hour window. You'll feel poorly. I've done it once and I felt, yeah, it felt like crap. So there you go, guys. I'm going to open up now to who we got. We've got a few people on live. So, well, what I'll do it like one by one. So put your hand up if you have a question, and I'll take you off the mic. No? Did I share everything? Okay. Okay, you're off. Go for it, Julie.
Hiya. I've just realised I'm called COVID-19, but I'm actually in the middle of work. Sorry. It's the kombucha drinks. I've not seen them, so that would be instead of a herbal tea, and you wouldn't have to count any of the calories or macros because I've never had them before. I've got one.
Well, there's only 7 calories in them, so you're barely needing to count any calories, to be quite honest.
So that would be instead of like a herbal tea or.
Yeah. Well, just because, like, you know, everyone's different, but I know, like, I don't drink fizzy drinks personally, but some people drink stuff like lemonade or cordials or Diet Cokes and stuff like that. You know, all of those sorts of things, they're all going to spike your insulin and sugar levels, and they're going to add calories. So, you know, it's just a better choice compared to fizzy drinks, cordials, alcohol. You know, that's the benefit of having something like that.
Right, cool.
I probably have about 1 kombucha a day and 1 dash a day. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and I'm just going to take you off the mic. Jen, any questions? You good?
No, I'm okay. So I'm sort of a bit halfway there anyway with the 16/8 stuff. So it's, yeah. I'm a bit scared about
the 24. Do you fancy a 24?
Well, I did a 23 last week. I just couldn't make it to 24. The 36 scares the life out of me.
Well, this is the thing. It's not like a, you know, you don't have to do the 36.
No.
It's just the idea, like anything, is progression and building upon it. What you might find after doing the 6, you probably, before you ever did any fasting, the idea of doing 23-hour fast would have been scary, right?
Yeah.
So,
the thought of ever missing breakfast used to scare me. So, but I never eat that now. So it's just, it's just getting into the swing of it, and I've just sort of found the thing that works. I think
for a lot of people, they forget that you can have breakfast just a bit later than normal.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I have my breakfast at lunch because I sort of don't like lunch very much, so I just have the breakfast at lunchtime.
Yeah, me too. Cool. All right, and then so Louise got a question. What doesn't allow me? There you go.
Yeah. If you're not having the ketone drinks, what would you use instead? Sorry if you've already said it because I'm sort of working in between. But
water.
Just water.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, depends on what your goals are. To be honest, like what you have to ask, because with fasting, there's lots of benefits of fasting that are completely separate to just losing some weight. But obviously, doing a water fast, you have different types of fast as well, right? So we're not doing like a strict fast, because the ketone, and I'm having like a bit of MCT oil. Now, you don't have to do that. If you were following like a full-on water fast, then you wouldn't be allowed to have MCT oil, really. You know, but there's different types of fast. Like I've done a 7-day juice fast before, which was quite hard for the first 24 hours, but it got a lot easier. But you can do juice fasts, you can do water fasts, you can do food fasts. We're doing more of a food fast, really, and ideally, the only thing that you would consume would be water, ketones, or a dash of like MCT oil. But in terms of what you could have instead of a ketone, I'm not sure really. I mean, just anything, I guess, that would sort of keep you going. So
I've been doing a 59 fast at the minute, and I will just have coffee or water until my first meal.
Yeah, that's fine. That works. That works for you. Then that's great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And then Yvonne's got a question.
I do the same actually, because the last meal I had last night was before 8, and I just drink coffee and water through the morning.
Right.
Milk. But there's one question I want to ask you, because obviously my carbs are too high. So they are. But my fat is quite low. Is that not a good combination for me?
Well, questions like that are always dictated by how you feel and what your goals are. If you feel good in yourself and you feel happy with where you're at physically, mentally, energy wise, that there isn't any real right or wrong in terms of macros. You have to, that's why, I mean, I'm with this 10-day plan, for instance, we're not doing this to say this is how you should continue on for the rest of your life. This is a bit of a bit of a reboot. It's like boosting things a little bit, giving you a bit of a challenge as well. And the likelihood is you're going to, at the end of the 10 days, it's going to help regulate. One of the things that something like this does do is it helps reset your hormonal system a little bit. Okay, that's one of the biggest benefits, really, and your digestive system. The combination of those two things will then mean that if you were just to go back to eating or following a similar plan to what you were, but maybe a little bit healthier, you'd probably just find it a bit easier, because hormonally everything's a bit more balanced. Your insulin levels are working better. You're not getting so bigger cravings. So that's one of the reasons why sometimes it's good to do maybe like a mini detox or a bit of a fasting protocol. But in terms of your macros, Yvonne, I mean, try it. The thing to do is maybe just experiment with doing like a 16-8 or trying out one of the 24-hour fasts.
Well, I actually put that question to you last weekend, because what I found is last week, to be honest with you, my calories were quite low, my fat was quite low, but my carbs were quite high, but I felt really, really well. And to be honest with you, I wasn't hungry at all. And actually, I did put the question to you saying that I was thinking of fasting for a couple of days.
Right. Okay. Why were you thinking of fasting if you're already feeling good?
Yeah, but I was just thinking, okay, I'll just do a fast for a couple of days and just cleanse my system, if you understand. It was more so to cleanse my system.
Yeah.
Ask if I could, when I'm fasting.
What you might want to find, what you may find what you definitely, I say everyone finds, when you're fasting, you definitely would want to lower your carbs and increase your fats. Fats really help regulate satiety. So when you're fasting, not eating, it's just easier to not eat when you're on more of a higher fat diet than a high carb diet.
Right, but does carbs not convert into fat if you haven't utilized them?
If you overeat carbs, sugars, then yeah, but that would be stored fat. So you don't want to be storing fat.
All right, so that's what basically the high carb diet.
You don't want to have to use fat in a way that your body's got to store it first. You know, the whole goal really is to burn body fat immediately, right?
Okay, that's fine. I didn't understand that. That's why that was kind of one of the questions as well that I had.
Yeah. I think it's leptin that's the key hormone player in regards to fats. Fats has releases leptin. Leptin tells the brain that you feel fuller. Yeah.
Right.
Cool. And Natalia's jumped on. You got any questions, Natalia? Oh. Go.
Yes, going on from you were saying, you explained this is like a 10-day structure, and just wondered how often is it good to reboost your system like this, to go through detox like this, maybe, I don't know, every 3 months, couple of times a year?
It depends obviously it depends on, you know, how extreme or the structure is. From a lot of studies that I've read, it's good to do some form of fasting at least once a month, whether that be like a 24-hour fast. Yeah. There's a guy called Dr. Peter Attia, who is an expert on fasting. And actually, if you don't download the Zero app, he actually has lots of videos on the benefits of fasting, how often to fast. He's like one of the world's leading experts. It's not my, I'm not going to say that I know everything about fasting. I mean, I think generally, you know, when your body needs a reboot. So that's the best dictator of when to do things, is when you're feeling if you're feeling sluggish, if you're feeling like you're getting brain fog, if your mood is low, if you're getting a bit ratty and a bit stressed, okay, and if you're gaining weight, those are 5 big symptoms that basically, you know what, I need to change. I need to give myself a reboot. I need to put some good nutrients in my body, but I need to, you know, maybe do a few fasts, hydrate, and let's turn things around again. You know, and that may last you about a month or 2. And then you might start to slip back into some bad habits again, and you know, and then you do something like this again. Does that help?
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, unless anyone else has any other questions, yeah, Julie's got another question. That's good. Go for it, Julie.
I don't know whether Hannah mentioned, she's just popped a chat on the bottom.
No, I've not seen it.
I think it was something like, are you supposed to be exercising when you're fasting for like the 20 hours and the 24 hours? Because clearly I'm not at the minute because I'm injured, but I think I'm going to start joining in to do some sessions, but only do what I can tolerate.
Yeah.
If you're on like a 20-hour fast, would you then be advising us to exercise as we would do normally, or just how we felt?
Okay, it's going to be one of those another annoying answers. Last time I was doing keto and I was doing fasting 3 years ago, I was really into CrossFit, and I started testing training in a fasted state, and I found when I was fasting using the ketones, I was on fire. Like, I just felt really good. My performance level, I was so surprised. I thought the weights that I could lift would go down, and they went up. I felt really good. I think if you've got body fat to burn, I think your body, you know, is going to be okay. You're going to be fine. It just means you're going to burn a higher ratio of body fat if you're exercising more. Having said that, it's going to depend a bit on the person, because if you've not, like, obviously you've not been able to exercise much lately. So, you know, I would suggest that it wouldn't be high intensity. You know, if you were going to do any exercise, if you were able to go for a walk or something like that, then that would be the best place to start, because it's like all things, it depends on what your current level is and how much you have been doing. But yeah, there's not really anything to say don't exercise if you're fasting. It's just going to kind of boost the fat burning process a little bit more. And yeah, there's lots of people have shown that actually you can still even gain muscle tissue. So that's a lot of the myths that used to be around, that you go into this survival mode super quickly and your body starts to break down muscle. A lot of those myths have sort of been broken now by science. Now, that's not to be said that can't happen, but it takes a lot longer than we've once thought. So, and particularly when you're in a keto state, that's your body's muscle preserving. Your body has a better ability to preserve muscle when you're using ketones and when your body's in more of a keto state. So again, it just comes back a little bit to how you're feeling. If you're feeling, you know what, I feel really good, I want to go for a walk, I want to kind of burn a few calories, I want to maximize being in this fat burning zone, then go and do it. If you feel a bit sluggish, then, don't be surprised if the first few days, like if you've never done any fasting before and you're about to start this 16-8 fast, and then you go, after 5 days, you go into a 20-day fast, don't be surprised if, you go through a period of 24 to 48 hours where you feel, a bit sluggish, particularly if you're used to like a relatively moderate to high carb diet. So if you're going from a moderate to high carb diet and then you drop those calories and those carbs dramatically, then you will feel a bit sluggish. But then you come through that, and then you start to really feel the benefits. Yeah, is that okay? Let me. I haven't looked at the chat box actually, so see what I can find. So, okay, that was the only question that Hannah had. It was a good question though. I'm trying to remember if there's a best type of training to do. I don't think there is. I don't think it really matters. The only thing I would say is if you do cardio, personally, if I do cardio and I'm fasting, I'm ravenous. Like when I break that fast, I tend to find it harder to not eat more than if I've just done weights or done like squats or done more like conditioning. So if any of you guys that are into like running or cycling or going on long walks, just something to watch. I just find I get a lot more like ravenous if I've done a lot of cardio. But then again, you could say, well, yeah, but you're going to burn a lot more calories, so it kind of equals itself out, So yeah, I think hopefully that is enough. If you have any more questions, guys, on this, obviously we've got the group chat, we've got the Facebook group, but hopefully that gives you a
Matt,
yeah.
Matt, can I just quickly share my experience, because I've been taking ketones.
Yeah, you've been. Yeah, this is really good because Liana's actually already sort of started this, so go for it.
Yeah, so then day 10. So first 5 days I took one sachet just in the morning, one drink, and now I'm taking 2 drinks a day.
Yeah.
And what can I say, guys? I'm buzzing. So much energy. And yeah, I just sort of wanted to answer Hannah's question, can you exercise? Yes, you want to exercise much more, I think. I've been constantly going for walks and I'm not tired. I'm not tired at all. I'm less stressed. Yeah, it's really been a good experience. I did have keto flu, as they say.
Did you?
Sort of had, yes, a bit headaches, lethargic, but I increased my water. I think second day, third day, I drank like 7 liters of water.
Wow.
And the headache completely gone. Also, I'm taking magnesium to help constipation, if anyone's gonna have. Electrolytes, I'm taking daily. So really, in the end of the day, when I was taking just one ketone drink in the morning, I felt a bit going sort of lethargic in the evening.
What are you
And
having,
a bit
Liana?
headachy.
Some sea salt or something?
Yeah, Himalaya salt.
Himalayan salt. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, just just
You
that.
can get that for about £1 in Holland and Barrett at the moment.
Yeah, in every normal shop. I don't know. That's kind. Yeah, you can just find it there as well.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but
if you're going full on keto, just upping your salts a little bit, because basically keto pulls out some of the minerals in the body. So if you are going full keto, then just a dash of Himalayan salt in your water in the morning. Or how do you have it, Liana?
Yeah, I just normally just take through the day. Just like I sometimes put lemon juice as well. So just squeeze a bit of lemon and just salt. Yeah,
that's a good tip.
And I just I just do it through the day normally. I got my bottle with me everywhere, and I just put in a bottle.
Fantastic.
But experience is really, really good. I don't want to come off of them at all. If I have money, I'm probably gonna carry on for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
It's
Go on,
it's really good. Also, I noticed my skin condition, even though just on day 10, is improved dramatically. Skin condition is just like, wow. I know I probably have skin, that soft in my life as I got now.
And have you experienced any weight loss?
I didn't go on scales, but inches, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely inches, and I just look more tone. I would say feel more tone. My clothes is just fit much better. Yeah, I'm not stepping on the scales to sort of disappoint myself, but just if I'm telling you how I feel, really, benefits definitely. So the clothes more.
How different are your energy levels now then, since you've been, compared to before?
10 to 10, 10. 10 to 10 is 10. 10.
10.
Yes. I said, well, on the scale 1 to 10 is 10.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10. What were they before then?
Yes. Before I would say, 5, 4. On a good day, maybe 6 I can manage.
Ah, okay. That's fantastic. Ah, it's really good. Really good. Thanks for sharing that. I was going to ask you something else. I can't remember now.
Yeah. I do fast. I do fasting as well every single day. 18/6 I do. Yeah. And that's now for me it's easier. And definitely, guys, it is possible 24 hours or 36 hours if you take 2 sachets. You just don't want to eat.
Yeah.
I normally eat because it's more a habit than I'm hungry. You just like habit. I didn't have food today, so just like I need to eat. I'm sort of stress myself because I need to eat. It's just a habit. But I'm not feeling hungry.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Because you get all this time that you didn't used to have. Like you forget how much time goes into like preparing food and cooking and then eating, and then you're like, I'm just not eating. I'm just.
Yeah, definitely. Even particularly if you keep yourself busy, so you not notice like 24 hours is gone, or just like, I didn't eat anything today, so I better have something. But again, it's just more instinct habit says, I better have something because I'm not gonna feel, good, or I'm not gonna sleep or something. But if you got like second ketone drink afternoon, normally I take around, I would say around 6 o'clock my second ketone drink. So I just don't, and I go sleep around 11, and I'm not hungry at all.
Wow, there you go, guys. Easy peasy. Are you going to go for a 36, 36, Liana?
I definitely, I will. Definitely. Yeah. If anyone wants to ask any more questions, from my experience, they're more than welcome. Just personal,
that's really good, because I know you've been reading lots of books on it and you've been learning a lot about keto, the whole keto thing. So that's really one thing I would say actually on that is with regards to weight is it, today is really the day that if one of your goals for this is weight loss, then obviously it's well worth just jumping on the scale and getting your measurements done just to see where they're at, you know. That would be really good. So awesome. All right, guys. Well, good luck. And then, like I said, if you have any other questions, then, you know, just give me a shout.
Matt?
Yeah.
Are you able to update my macros on Ketone for me, please?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Cool. Hey, Aaron, I didn't see you there. Have you been there the whole time? You've been there the whole time, Aaron? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, mate? Sorry, I didn't see you there. You've started 2 days ago as well, so
4 days now.
Oh God, that's gone quick. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. The one thing I want to try and do is, because at the minute I'm having brunch and dinner.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out, do I cut out the brunch or do I cut out the dinner? What's best? Is it best to start the day with something or end the day with something?
That's a good question. Because obviously when you're looking at 16/8, when you're looking at 20-hour, 24-hour fasts, you know, there's no set time. You don't have to follow what I've sort of suggested. My suggestion is keep the meal in that you most enjoy. You know, if you love brunch, if you find a brunch that you're like, it's killer, like eggs, bacon, yeah, I love it. You know, if you have that and then you start your 24-hour fast, then the only benefit to having obviously the dinner and then doing 24-hour fast is you're maximizing sleep. You're using sleep, 8 hours of sleep, right? That plugged into the fast makes it a lot easier. But then again, over 24 hours, you're going to have sleep in there anyway. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of up to you. There's no hard and fast rules on any of this, really.
Yeah, I think when I'm back at work, it'd probably be better to get rid of the brunch.
For you as a lorry driver, yeah, I think that this would work really well as a kind of long-term sort of strategy. You know, having, you know, when you do eat, having slightly maybe bigger portions than what you're used to, but then not eating for longer afterwards, and then, you know, maximizing sort of fat burning and feeling good. That is one of the benefits of intermittent fasting, is it can work for a lot of people who do different shift patterns. You know, like I know, like, you know, normally if I've got like a real crazy long day, I'll know the day before, I'll be thinking, right, I'm going to have like a big meal then, but I'm going to fast all the way through to that point or that point. And then I just know in my head what the goal is of that day. I know when I'm eating. You know, it's always good to do it the day before, I think, to sort of mentally prepare for what you're going to do the day before. Because you know what we're like with food. Like, if you're like me, if there's food about and you're just feeling a little bit peckish, you're just going to eat it. But if mentally you've prepared yourself for, this is what I'm doing tomorrow, then it's just, that's, you know, I'm fasting now, then I'm eating, then I'm fasting, whatever. Yeah.
That's all good.
All right. Cool. All right, I've got to go because I've got someone picking up ketones in about half an hour. So I'll see you later, guys.